It's John Leone with Lisa Wolff. Here's John.
Thank you, Gary. I think it's become pretty common knowledge that one of the most serious health and social issues of the day, is that of the opioid crisis. I'm here today with two folks who are intimately involved with that issue. On my right is Lisa Wolff. On my left is Joe Starace. Lisa, let me go to you first. Your connection to Lafayette actually involves more than just this program. You're the wife of Bob Wolff, and I want to give a shout out to Bobby. Bobby played basketball for us in the early 80s, 82 graduate. So hello to Bobby. Lisa, talk about the CHC. You are the Director of Prevention for the Center for Humanistic Change, and it is a program that has partnered with both Lehigh and Northampton County and the colleges to combat the opiate crisis.
Yes, the two counties, Northampton, Lehigh County, are working with us and the Patriot League to get the word out to the community that this is an epidemic. It's the worst crisis we've ever had in our country with drugs, largely because of the opioids and the pharmaceutical companies getting them, flooding the market with those drugs. So it's been a while coming to get to this point.
And you and I were just talking a moment ago that you kind of were ahead of the curve and you saw this coming. Talk a little bit about the history, the evolution, and how we've gotten to the crisis point right now.
We've been come for a long time. In the early 90s, the pharmaceutical companies were telling doctors that OxyContin was going to be different from any other opioid. And they predicted fewer than 1% of anybody who took it would get addicted, which was a complete lie. They were fined for that eventually, but in the meantime, doctors were writing prescriptions and they were just flooding, everywhere. We make up 5% of the world's population and we take 85% of these medications in the United States. So, and then combined with that, the heroin cartels took advantage of the fact that chemically, the opioids and heroin are very similar. So a lot of people, when their pill habit got too expensive or they couldn't get any more, heroin's that next step.
It's an incredible problem, and it's very complex, and it really knows no social boundaries, no economic boundaries. This is an epidemic that's touching everyone.
Yes, absolutely, and that's why we appreciate that working with Lehigh and Lafayette, we're reaching a whole new audience that might not be as aware of what's going on, and it can affect their families just like it affect anybody.
Well, for a moment, let's turn our attention to Joe. And Joe, first of all, thank you for being here. I think I know that the center is going to use you as its poster child, so to speak, because you've been through it. You are recovering. You're a college graduate and master's student at Lafayette. Now, you don't end up at places like Lafayette and Lehigh if you're if you haven't been focused in your life. Talk to us about your journey, where you are now, and what the center has done for you.
Well, the center's been a huge help for me so far. I'm 2 years removed from my active addiction. I didn't even start, with the opioids until after my undergraduate. I graduated from East Stroudsburg, and then while in my profession, started my drug use, pretty heavy. And, after experiencing jail time, I went through Northampton County's drug court process, and my hat's off to all the work they do. They did a phenomenal job helping me get back on my feet. I know a bunch of other people that have been through the program are doing very well. Once getting my head back together, I met up with Lisa at the CHC and have been working with them in prevention work with younger kids, elementary schools, high schools, the college level as well. It's just been a great experience to kind of give back, what I've been through and use it in a positive way that, you're able to come out on the bright side of things if you really work towards it.
Well, Joe, our hat is off to you because I think we can't ever overstate the courage that it takes to look inside and to pick yourself up. It is a physical challenge. Let me go back to you, Lisa, to come off of the stuff. Once you're in it, you really do change physically.
It's not only a physical addiction. Addiction is a brain disease, especially with these opioids. They change the brain. So when somebody starts getting into this, they're in many ways not even the same person. They're not thinking logically. It's like that brain wants that drug,
What do you see, Lisa, in your experience? Is there a tipping point? What are the triggers that an otherwise well-adjusted, focused person slips into this issue?
I think, well, first of all, doctors sometimes prescribe these things too much, so you have to be a part of that process with your physician and talk to him about whether you should be taking these kinds of medicines. There are alternatives. But I think a lot of drug use also goes back to mental health. We hear a lot of people talk about not wanting to feel what they feel and drugs covering that up. So I think we also have to be paying attention to mental health issues at the same time.
One last question, Lisa, as we go forward, are there certain steps legislatively that we can take that you see? What needs to be done in the immediate future? What's our best weapon against this disease?
Well, we're taking some steps. You're seeing a lot more advertisements out there. People are talking about it. I think we need to keep educating parents and kids. We also need to educate doctors and nurses. They don't get a lot of addiction education in medical school. So that's one of our focuses. And yeah, keep talking to your congressman about ways to, there's ways that can limit the number of pills that could be prescribed at one time, for example, things like that.
Terrific. Well, Lisa, Joe, our hats are off to you again. Thank you so much, Joe, especially you, all you've done. These folks need people like you. They need those success stories. They need those stories of redemption. Congratulations. Good luck going forward. And thank you both for spending time with us on the Lafayette Sports Network. Gary, Michael, two heroes. Back to you guys.